Is the Scrum Master active during the sprint? Oh, that's put a smile on my face. I've just got an image of a Scrum Master doing jumping jacks now. What do we mean by active? Are they involved? Yes. But what are they doing? A pure Scrum Master is likely not developing the product. Okay, so they're not there, maybe hands-on coding, but they are actively involved in the creation of that product, but not directly. Their interest is in the environment, so they will be working with individual developers and the product owner. Developers, they may be bringing new ideas in, having conversations with them to help them as developers and as the wider development team, as it used to be called in Scrum, giving them ways to improve, maybe running workshops with them about core Scrum or associated areas of the Agile world. Things like behaviour-driven development are very often introduced by the Scrum Master. And they'll be working with the product owner, helping them keep hold of that backlog, keep it in good shape. Right? They're not doing the product backlog refinement, so they're not adding the detail and exploring it, but they're bringing the tools and having conversations with the product owner so that the PO can have good conversations. Okay? They're going to be working with stakeholders. Maybe there was somebody who came to the last sprint review who didn't really understand what was going on. Maybe they got a bit too involved. They turned up after 2 weeks and expected 3 years worth of work because that's what they'd always seen. Your Scrum Master is the person who's going to be out having that conversation, helping the stakeholders understand this is a different way of working, helping the wider organisation understand what Scrum is, how to work with it and with teams using it, and in general the Agile thing. They're going to be advocates for Agile. So many Scrum Masters are involved beyond their team, helping other people understand this way of working, all to the benefit of their team or teams. But isn't it great when the people around you understand this is how we're working? If you want to change, that's fine, but it needs to go into the backlog, which means you're going to have a conversation with the product owner. Somebody needs to be out there explaining this. This all falls to the Scrum Master. For me, setting up a team is, even for the newest Scrum Master, a few months' work. Okay, you're going to teach them the event. That doesn't take long. Just walk them through, take a bit longer, and explain them as you go, or sit them in a classroom and teach them it. Okay? We work with bright people. They're going to get it, and they may push back on it, and that's a different thing. We're going to have to work with them through mentoring, through coaching, through straight up telling sometimes. You know, the what and the why behind this stuff. Okay? But actually, getting Scrum work at a mechanical level is very straightforward. It's then that really the Scrum Master is going to start working hard, because we have to get it from the mechanical to the organic. We have to get it as a natural part of how they view work. But all of this is done often within a few months. And many people stop there. They're not a Scrum Master. I don't care what their job title says. I don't care if they're a CSM or a PSM or whatever. They're not a Scrum Master, not yet. Because they think their role focuses on that team. Their role is focused on the environment, is creating a culture and environmental context in which that team can excel. And if you believe that team sits in isolation in a huge global organisation, you're kidding yourself. So once we've got that working and it's going well, it's going to need some work, and we're going to be working with them and helping them understand the values, the principles, okay, of Agile, of Scrum, bringing in new ideas for them to try out, keeping them honest to their process, to their way of working, to their relationships. That's an ongoing task in itself. But you're also going to be working with that wider organisation. There's those stakeholders that I mentioned who may not get it yet. You've got to help them understand it, understand what you're trying to do, and why maybe then you're not going to give them what they're used to in the formats they're used to. You're going to be out there working with people, trying to unblock impediments that are slowing down your team. You're likely, as the Scrum Master, not the person who's actually going to do the work. You need to be the person who transports that impediment to the right place, makes it available, makes people aware of it, and follows up until it's done. You're going to be working with HR to help them understand the impact of new policies that are coming out and how that may positively or negatively impact your team. Many Scrum Masters end up working quite closely with human resources because we have a very different view of the world. We're not looking at individual performance, we're looking at team-based performance. And HR companies, or HR organisations today, are really starting to understand the power of the team over the individual. So we're there supporting them in their learning, pointing them in the right direction. We might be working with the executive up there in the upper echelons of your organisation, helping them understand Agile and the importance of business level agility. How as an organisation it's important to be able to flex and change direction in these volatile times. So they are active. They may not look it, and if you take it as what most people think of a Scrum Master, you would quite rightly question what they're doing after the first few months. They've got a team up and running, but in reality, once that team is up and running and it's got a way of working and it's really starting to form properly as a team, that's when a Scrum Master becomes most active. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.